Hey everyone! So today, we're going to unravel a fascinating medical mystery. It's all about how some of the most common and most dangerous diseases of our time are connected by a single powerful molecule. It's a story of the body's own alarm system going haywire.
So get this. What could possibly be the hidden link between a really rare headache that can literally make you go blind, the world's #1 killer, heart attacks, and a global obesity epidemic? It sounds totally unrelated, right? But the answer is actually uncovering a whole new frontier in medicine.
All right, so our investigation starts with the first clue. A sudden, really severe, and frankly a pretty terrifying medical condition that mostly shows up in older adults.
It's a condition called giant cell arteritis, or GCA for short. And what that really means is that the body's immune system gets confused and starts attacking its own blood vessels, causing them to get super inflamed. And like the name hints, it often goes for the arteries right in your temples.
And the symptoms? They are, wow. I mean, we're not talking about your average headache here. This is a headache so bad, it's like nothing you've ever felt before. Pain in your jaw just from chewing? And the scariest part? It can cause sudden, permanent blindness. This isn't just a headache. It's a full-blown medical emergency.
So you have to ask, right? What in the world is causing this kind of crazy inflammation? And that brings us to the real star of our show today, the molecule at the very center of this whole mystery.
At its heart, it's just this absolute firestorm of inflammation, just raging inside the artery walls.
But here's the twist. This isn't from some kind of infection, like a bacteria or a virus. Nope. The body's own immune system has just gone rogue, and it's mistakenly attacking its own tissues.
And researchers have pinpointed the main ringleader orchestrating this whole attack, a tiny little protein called Interleukin 6, or you can just call it IL-6. Think of it like the 5-alarm fire bell for your entire immune system.
And this is just a perfect explanation of what's happening. The source material from NCBI lays it out. These specific immune cells called macrophages start pumping out IL-6, and that just sets off this system-wide alarm. That's what causes all the other problems, the fever, the fatigue, that general feeling of being unwell that comes with GCA. Okay, so IL-6 is a huge deal in this one rare disease, but this is where the story just explodes into something way, way bigger. It turns out IL-6 isn't just some minor character, it's a major player in one of the most common diseases on the entire planet.
That's right, the very same molecule, Interleukin 6, is a key driver of atherosclerosis. You know, that's the slow, quiet buildup of plaque in our arteries that's behind almost every single heart attack and stroke that happens worldwide.
And the evidence is, well, it's just staggering. Just take a look at this chart. It's basically showing that if you have the highest levels of IL-6 floating around in your blood, your risk of having a major event, like a heart attack or stroke, jumps by nearly 60% compared to people with the lowest levels. That is not a small number. That is a massive red flag.
So how does this one little molecule cause so much trouble? Oh, it's a real master of disaster. It basically waves a flag saying, hey, immune cells, party over here in the artery wall. Then it helps those cells gobble up bad cholesterol, which builds the plaque. It makes the plaque grow faster, and worst of all, it makes it unstable, meaning it's more likely to break open and cause a clot, which is what triggers a heart attack.
Okay, so this begs a really big question. GCA, that first disease, is rare, right? But high IL-6 and heart disease are super common. So where is all this chronic inflammation coming from in so many of us?
And the answer is, honestly, kind of shocking. A huge source of it is our own body fat. For the longest time, we just thought of fat as, storage. But now we know it's a super active organ, and under the right or wrong conditions, it can turn into an inflammation factory.
This slide really tells the whole story. It's like a tale of two fat tissues. In a lean person, it's a helpful partner, regulating energy and hormones. But in obesity, the fat tissue itself becomes stressed out and inflamed. And those stressed out fat cells become little factories, just churning out these inflammatory signals. And guess what one of their main products is? Yep, IL-6. This creates a constant, low-level buzz of inflammation all over the body.
And this quote from the Endocrine Society just nails it. It says, our fat tissue is metabolically active and can modulate immunological responses. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. This is how obesity is directly connected to the very same inflammatory molecule that drives that rare headache and the world's most common killer. It all links back.
So this is huge. We've basically unmasked a key villain in this whole story, and once you know who the bad guy is, well, you can start figuring out how to stop him. This insight is opening up an entirely new way of thinking about modern medicine.
The logic is actually pretty straightforward, but it's incredibly powerful. If too much IL-6 is the problem behind all these diseases, what happens if we just block it? This idea has kicked off a huge wave of research into brand new therapies designed to do exactly that.
And this isn't just some theory in a lab. This is happening right now. Just look at this table. These are massive, late-stage clinical trials. Zeus, Artemis, Hermes, they're testing IL-6 blocking drugs in thousands of patients with heart disease and heart failure. We are right on the edge of finding out if targeting this one inflammatory pathway can literally save lives.
So let's just recap the journey we just took. We started with a rare inflammatory disease, GCA, that put a giant spotlight on the destructive power of IL-6. Then, boom, we find out that same molecule is a huge risk factor for heart disease. We then trace the source of all that chronic inflammation back to inflamed fat tissue in obesity. And now, all of that detective work is leading to a brand new, promising strategy for treatment.
Which leaves us with one final, really big thought. For the last 100 years, medicine has been about things like antibiotics to fight infections or statins to lower cholesterol. Are we now entering a new era? Is the next great leap in medicine going to be about fighting inflammation, precisely targeting these specific molecules one by one? The story of IL-6 suggests the answer might just be a resounding yes.